So today what we're going to be doing is going over the studio habits of mind. These are habits that creative people, so musicians and writers and actors, and of course artists, visual artists, develop and foster in order to create. Now, there's about 8 different skill sets that the arts teach. You learn how to develop craft, you learn how to engage and persist, you envision, you express, you observe, you reflect, you stretch and explore, and we also have to learn how to understand the art world. But also, you can make an argument that you're understanding the world in general. Now, this does say that it's what the arts teach, but you can really apply this in all learning. So the first one, develop craft, is probably the one that you've had the most experience with. You're learning how to use art tools, materials, and concepts. So you're learning exactly how to paint and how to use oil pastels. You're learning shading techniques. You're improving skills. You're learning how to maintain your studio. You're also learning how to create a portfolio and learning about studio practice. Now, for those of you that have been in my classroom before, maintaining the studio might look a little different this year, just because of the COVID concerns. Also, with the portfolio, we're going to create a digital and physical portfolio based on your preference. And so that way we'll be able to switch back and forth from online learning or remote learning to in the classroom learning. So the next skill set that you will learn is how to envision. Okay, this is the planning, this is the idea making, the idea generation. It's trying to imagine what's not already there. So what you do when you envision in the art room and in life in general is you're planning, you're generating ideas, you're brainstorming, you're sketching, you're imagining, you're picturing what if, alternate solutions. You do this, like I said, in other classes. So riddle me this. What would this look like in your science class? Or in other words, what do scientists call envisioning? The next one that's very important to develop as an artist is your skills of observation. So that means you're seeing beyond the ordinary and learning to look at things closer, okay? It's also comparing and contrasting details in two different objects. Maybe you're zooming in really close up on an object. Maybe you're seeing what's on the inside of an object, what makes it up. Maybe you want to see what it looks like when you take it apart. But there's other classes that you compare and contrast ideas and details. Next one is to stretch and explore. This is the learning how to play and also learning how to make mistakes and not just make them, but embrace them. Use them to create new things and to learn new things. Because honestly, if you do something correctly the very first time, if everything goes smoothly, and you don't make any mistakes, then that means that you didn't really learn anything. You already knew how to do it. You didn't develop anything new. But when you make a mistake and you change direction, you fix that mistake, that is when the learning occurs. So in the art classroom and many other classrooms, that means that you're experimenting, you're trying new things, you're going through trial and error, you're working outside your comfort zone. So if you've always used one material or if you've always done one style of artwork, that means that you're going to have to try something different. You're going to embrace new possibilities and don't be afraid to see what would happen if, okay? It might mess something up, but then again, it might also be something beautiful. Next is you will learn how to express yourself. Okay, so you're going to find a personal vision and learn how to convey an idea, feeling, or personal meaning. So when you express, you're conveying a feeling or a mood, you're telling a story, you're giving an opinion, or maybe you're commenting on an issue. Now, when you learn how to express, you also learn what other artists are trying to express. That means that you're learning how to read an artwork, okay? And not just passively look at all these images that you see on Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and TV and YouTube and just take it, oh, well, that's totally what it's meant to be at face value. But then once you start practicing expression, you realize that there's lots of tricks that artists can use to make you feel a certain way or to make you think of a certain thing. So once you learn how to express yourself, you're able to read images. So you can have an idea at the hidden meaning and motivation behind what you're seeing. I'm sure we've all seen those Instagram pictures where everybody looks all slim and trim, and then they show you what it looks like in reality when they're not standing a certain way or don't have lighting on a certain way. It's completely different from what the image that you see could be completely different from what the reality is. Next, this is probably the hardest one, even for myself, because I don't have a whole lot of the patience. But engage and persist. That means committing and following through. You're gonna, again, still embrace those problems. You're gonna focus on your work, even if it's something that you don't necessarily want to do. Sometimes, as an artist, you have to do things that aren't your choosing. Sometimes you're commissioned to do a work that you think is kind of boring, or maybe it's a subject matter that you're not really excited about. But in order to get paid and support the stuff that you do want to create, you need to do sometimes the stuff that you don't really want to create. So that means that you need to remember and learn how to develop focus, okay? You also have to see projects through to the end. And then the most important thing is when you come to a mistake, when you make a mistake, you learn either to correct it or to incorporate it and make it work in your artwork. Okay, maybe change the direction of your artwork in order to embrace that mistake. Because so many times we kill so many trees when we just make a mark on the paper that we don't like, and instead of trying to fix it, we just throw it away. That's not only wasteful, but it's not really developing this kind of skill of persistence and perseverance. So remember, when the going gets tough, an artist keeps going. Next, you guys are going to learn about the art world, okay? You learn about art history, and you learn also how to interact as an artist with other artists and within the community at large, okay? So we're not just going to go over the old masters. We are also going to talk about contemporary art. You guys are going to be working with other artists in the classroom, so that means you're going to be collaborating. You're going to be sharing ideas and resources, so that means that we're going to be doing some critiques. And we might do a little bit about learning about going to museums or galleries, but we don't have a whole lot of opportunity to visit said galleries and museums like in real life here, but we could at least go through virtual stuff. And finally, as an artist, you have to be able to reflect. That means thinking metacognitively. That is a big word, but really all that means is just thinking about how you think, thinking about how you work, okay? Thinking and talking with others about your work, evaluating your own work as well as the work of others. You're going to ask questions, you're going to explain, you're going to ask and answer what-if questions, okay? We're going to do this in conversations in class and online, but we're also going to be making some artist statements. Sorry guys, you're going to be writing in all your classes probably. Just accept and move on. So, that is it. Now what I want you guys to do is to complete the Google form also attached to this assignment. It's your exit ticket for this week, and it's worth 10 points.